Hi, Tina here. I'd like to introduce you to the concept of how our perception is connected to the life we project. Carl Jung was a big fan of the concept of perception being projection, which essentially means that you can't see anything outside of yourself that's not you. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who is a Hungarian biologist and wrote the book Flow, The Psychology of Optimum Experience, tells us that we're constantly being bombarded with over 2 million bits of information every single second of every single day. Now that's a whole lot of information to come pouring into us via our 5 senses. But in order to make sense of all this overwhelming volume of information coming in, your nervous system deletes, distorts and generalizes the information so you're actually only aware of a minute amount of that information every single second. So out of the 2 million bits of information, you're only aware of 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of that information. That's about 34 bits. Now my question to you is this. Is there a difference between those two numbers? 2 million and 134? There's a huge difference between those two numbers. And that's how much information you're leaving out every single second of every single day. Now what's not immediately obvious is that we're conditioned and programmed to leave out the same information every time. When you think about it for a second, isn't it true there are some people that only notice the things that aren't working in their lives? Or all the things there is out there to be depressed about in life? And then there are other people who only notice things to be happy about, or the opportunities that exist in the world. Ultimately, the quality of your life comes down to what you are deleting at any given time. Think about it this way. How much information is there out there on the World Wide Web? There's tons of information out there on the World Wide Web. Everything you possibly want to know or find out about exists out there and can be found by some sort of search engine. But if you type the word poverty into a search engine, what's going to come up on the screen? Everything to do with poverty. Everything else is going to be deleted. Now, if you look at that computer monitor when the word poverty was typed into the search engine and you knew absolutely nothing about computers, you might be mistaken to think that that's all there was. And that's how it works in life. People go through their entire lives with keywords typed into their computer of life, and they keep pulling out the exact same experiences, sometimes with painstaking regularity. Now, it's not that wealth or happiness doesn't exist out there. It's just our thoughts have been programmed and conditioned for a certain experience of life. If you were to go into a search engine and type the word wealth, what would come up? Everything to do with wealth. And in life it works exactly the same way. What we look for, we find. A quick story. A few years ago I decided to sell my beloved car. I decided to start looking at what I might like, and as I was driving around I looked at all the cars on the road and then finally found one, a make or model that I thought that I liked. So I decided, yes, I'm going to get one of those cars. Then all of a sudden I started to see those cars everywhere. Now my question to you is this. Did these cars exist before I looked at them? Before I looked for them to exist? Yes or no? Of course they did. They were always out there. I just had to search or look for them to come into my own experience. I just had to search for them to bring them into my awareness, into my focus and my experience of life. Another way to look at it is this. You've got a flashlight, and the flashlight is your focus. That's the 7 plus or minus 2 chunks of awareness per second that you've got. It's 134 bits once again. And you're living in this dark room. In a corner of this dark room is poverty, and another corner is wealth. In one corner could be poor relationships, and another corner is great relationships. Or one corner could be poor physical health, and another corner great physical health. What becomes your experience of your world is where you've got your flashlight trained. That is, what you bring into your awareness. The good news is that we can change our focus and we can change our reality, sometimes instantaneously. The challenging news for some people is that 95% of the drivers that determine where we point our flashlight of our focus is in our subconscious, our internal thoughts. The authors on this website will show you how to take charge of that. But realize that where you've got your flashlight trained depends upon who you are. Which is why the world is always a reflection of your own consciousness. Perception is projection. What you see is who you are. It's like a mirror reflecting back into your face. It's a reflection of our consciousness. Carl Jung said we tend to marry our unconscious mind and project out to him or her all of our unconscious or unresolved stuff. What this means is, if you keep getting things in a relationship that you don't want, that's you. You know, you have heard the saying that wherever you go, there you are. But what this also means in the content of relationships is that once we've cleared up all our internal thoughts, we free ourselves to attract truly formidable relationships, because a relationship will always be a reflection of your consciousness and your thoughts. Remember, we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. The world itself changes based upon who or what looks at it. Now, this really bothered Albert Einstein and famous quantum physics like Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr said, "Do you mean to tell me that the entire universe changes just because a mouse looks at it?" But it does. You see, all of reality is subjective, and it's all based on who or what is looking at it. So remember, if you want to make changes outside of you, the place to change is inside yourself, your thoughts. Learning the importance of our thoughts has been the foundation of all the authors featured in The Universe Within Us, and these concepts have been utilised since the beginning of time. We hope that you'll spend some time looking through the wonderful selection of authors we've chosen. These are the authors the Secret Trainer studied prior to The Secret, and are also works credited as inspiration for some of the world's most famous achievers. I certainly hope you'll enjoy them and return to our website often to look at additional products and free gifts we sourced on your behalf. Whether you're looking for whatever it is, remember it's already waiting for you. You just have to look for it in the universe within us.